Paul Page. He's a tenant from Halfway and what part of the backbone of the Benefit Justice campaign. So Paul's going to give us a few useful facts and figures and things that we need to do.
Unfortunately, Stephanie Vautreau is not the first to die as a result of benefit cuts. I need to remind you that there are at least 2,000 people who are disabled who've committed suicide since they were reassessed and their benefits were cut. This cut is not just the bedroom tax. We have 14 different benefits that are being cut. 10 million people are being affected by these cuts. This is an all-out assault on the welfare state, really. At the end of the day, this is what it's boiling down to. They want to attack every gain that we have made since 1945, whether it's council tax, sickness benefits, you name it, they are attacking it. They're taking £19 billion worth of benefits away from us. Who are these people? Who's benefiting from all of this misery that they're creating? I'll give you an idea. Both Michael Gove and Cameron were members of a club called the Bullington Club at Oxford. One of the things they did, you had to do to join the club, was to burn a £50 note in front of the poorest person you could find. This is utter contempt for people like us. The only people they're interested in serving is the rich. That's why the rich last year increased their wealth by 35 billion. And that's why the Tories cut the richest tax from 50 to 45%. This is all about shifting wealth from us to the rich. But they're not going to get away with it. We can defeat them. Cameron is not strong. He's no Margaret Thatcher. They are a weak government. If we are willing to organize against them, we can beat them. We need to take some lessons from the poll tax campaign, which defeated Thatcher. We can do it again. We need to organize on the estates. We need to build across the country federations, tenants, associations, to take on the government in the courts and take them on, take the bailiffs on when they come around knocking on the door. We need to organize demonstrations like that Glasgow is doing and Manchester are doing on the 1st of June. But we also have to put pressure on the local councils to promise not to evict tenants. We need them on our side. 13 councils have already promised not to evict tenants. We need to put pressure. That's why we need to do that petition that's on the table in front of us. And we also need to think about demonstrating at Tory Party Conference in September. We can defeat this government if we're organised and we're determined. And I'm sure we're going to do that. We need to go back to the estates and build more support for the campaign against the bedroom tax and all the other benefits as well. Thank you very much.
And the final speaker today is BK, who's speaking on behalf of the GMB, which is one of the unions that has members inside of the council housing services. So give a big round of applause for BK.
Thank you. I'm speaking as a GMB shop steward on behalf of the GMB F38 branch, and I'm proud to say that my branch has supported the campaign against the bedroom tax and has paid money towards one of the coaches that went down to the Benefits Justice Summit last week. And I think we have to be clear, the reason that GMB is supporting this is that these attacks are absolutely devastating the lives of ordinary people in this country. The attacks on disability benefits, on benefits in general, the cuts in jobs, the driving down of wages, the attacks on public services, the attempts to privatise everything, are all part and parcel of a Tory trying to attack the poor and the working class inside of our country. And they're blaming us for the state of the country. They're saying that immigrants are to blame, that the poor are to blame. you know, that we're the people who are responsible for the state of the country, when we all know it's the bankers and the bosses that are basically ruining our economy. And this is an actual consequence of Thatcherism. If you remember, Margaret Thatcher was the person that started to sell off council houses in this country. She's the person that stopped the council house rebuilding programme. And now, when we haven't got enough council houses and enough social housing for people in this country, she's blaming them for it and making them move out of their homes. If you're rich, you don't have to move out of your home in this country. You're only taxed if you're poor, and that's absolutely criminal. What we need is to carry on building the groups that we're building inside of our communities, but we also need to start building workplace groups. We need to start saying, as working people, that we will fight for the poor and the vulnerable inside of our society. And we need to use those groups to put pressure on people like our trade union leaders to do more, because at the moment they're all standing aside and watching all of this without giving us a strategy and a campaign to fight. And we need to use the groups to put pressure on the councillors inside of Sheffield and inside of the councils in this country. Because actually the councillors in this country and in Sheffield could say that they're not implementing this tax, and they would get a huge amount of support from people in this country if they refuse to implement the tax. And that's what we want to see. So we need to send a very, very clear message to them. Enough is enough. We will not stand by and watch our lives being devastated anymore. We will stand up and fight in this government for every single attack that they throw at us, and we will demand that our union leaders help us to lead that fight, because united we are strong. If we actually are divided, if we attack each other, if we blame immigrants, if we blame the poor, then that stops us from fighting back. We need unity and we need to fight back, and the message is enough is enough. We will fight a weak government like the Tories, and we will say no more.
Thank you very much, Bea. And thank you to everybody who's come today. Just before you go, I'd like us to do a bit of chanting, but I'd also like to make a few announcements. People will know there's a petition. We want everybody to take them and take them to their friends and to their neighbours and get them to fill in. Let's make this a massive petition across this city, but that's not enough by itself. We need to get organised.